No, I guess it would be the PlayStation division of Sony. We'll call it PlayStation. I guess PlayStation has a much better understanding of, you know, numbering. But look, Nintendo's nowhere near better for this. Like, they're just as bad. In fact, they might even be worse, to be honest. There is no, like, chronological, I guess, numbering in the Nintendo world. So you went... Also, Super Nintendo was just like a... That was a very 90s way of naming something. Very 80s, very 90s way of naming something. So that's fine. But like the N64, it's 64 because it has 64-bit graphics. Like, that's cool. But then after that point, it's like, okay, well, whatever. GameCube. What's a GameCube? I don't fucking know. What's a Wii? I don't fucking know. Wii U? Well, okay. Switch? It can switch. Right, okay, sure. Yeah, what is numbering? I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just that they get their tech team to name stuff rather than the PR team. Or just think of the Nvidia naming scheme, for example, where you'll reset the numbering every couple of generations. So it's just like, oh yeah, we have this completely sensible numbering scheme here. Fuck it. Fuck it, we don't need it. Get rid of it. Or Intel. Intel had their really nice structure with the i3s and the i5s and the i7s and then the i9s. But then they were like, okay, well, let's just have things that are i7s also be things that are like i5s now. Okay, so how do we know what's what? Well, work it out for yourself. Doesn't matter. Just who cares about consistent naming? The journalists out there will work it out for us. They'll come up with something for it. Yeah, smartphone industry is really bad for it. At least Samsung and Apple have like a mainline, I guess, way of numbering, except then when they decide to change it. Like, they were good for up until, I'd say, when they hit 10. Anything outside of their, like, their top of the line was absolute gibberish. That was, like, basically monitor naming at that point. Especially when you have different SKUs for different regions. When it was different SKUs for different regions, it was just like, fuck it, you're never gonna work anything out here. But, like, up until, like, the Galaxy S9, it was relatively easy to understand what was supposed to be placed where in the ordering. Then it's like, hey, you want to have like the X and the Super X and the Max and the Maximus Max. See, I'm just making that one up, but basically that's what you get. For a while, it was workable, and then they were like, fuck it, this is too good. We don't need this. Just imagine if the monitor naming industry had any sense. It's just like, can you tell me, even like what monitor you have? I'm sure you can't. I'm sure you have no idea what the model number of your monitor actually is. Because I have no... My voice is cracked then. Because I have literally no idea what my monitor is. I could not tell you. Because monitors, I don't know why monitors are so bad. Maybe it's because they hold over from TVs. That could very well be it. And there's no naming in the TV world either. Unless you're running, I guess, one of the like super high-end. You have like a $20,000 TV, something like that. When you have things like Plus, Pro, Deluxe, things like that, but there's no like, I guess, understanding of what each of those words actually mean. Like, is Plus better than Pro? Is Max better than Deluxe? Like, I would assume Max is the best, but maybe Max isn't the best. Maybe Max just means maximum screen. Whereas the Deluxe actually means Deluxe performance. How about we just drop all of this and we just like gooder, and just like keep adding ers to the end? The number of ers determines how good it is. Or we could do something sensible and just use numbers. And not reset the numbering. So if we decide to start at, say, you know, the 100 series, the next one should be the 200. I forgot what number was after 100. The next should be the 200 series, then the 300. And then when you hit 1,000, you don't reset to a different numbering system. Then you just like the 1,100 and the 1,200. You just keep doing this, and you just do this for all time, and it'll be so simple. But I think part of the reason why they reset numbering, like part of the reason why you have GPUs using like the 1,000 series, is because 1,000 sounds bigger than 100. So it makes it sound like it's a better card. It's just a marketing tactic. Maybe there is some hope that Intel, when they decide to start making GPUs, they're going to have like a sensible naming scheme. But this is Intel we're talking about, so I am holding literally zero hope. Oh god, I hate tech naming. Tech naming is so fucking awful. GTX and RTX. Now RTX, it makes sense they have a different SKU because it's like it's like, hey, this is the ray tracing SKU. But what are they gonna do when ray tracing becomes part of the GTX line? So are you just gonna like switch everything over to RTX, or is now RTX also just not going to exist? I call it, oh god, RGTX. No, I could see them doing that, to be honest. Don't give the Nvidia marketing team any sort of advice, because they will take it. And when it sounds dumb enough to be real, that's when one of the Nvidia interns is going to actually take it as a good piece of advice. I know it doesn't sound like as exciting for marketing, but people know what they're buying. Actually, maybe that's the problem. You don't want people to know what they're buying. You want people to always be confused, so they buy something better than they actually need. Yeah, there we go. I've solved the entire problem right there. Confuse the consumer and they'll buy whatever you tell them to buy. I thought I was getting blinded more than normal. My light was running at 72%. It's supposed to be at 40. Makes it easier to bait them to pick the more expensive one. Exactly. Exactly. That's why you have things like sticking XT on there and Titan and like what's the Nvidia thing they do where they release like it's like a better version of existing card. Oh, and then it gets even more confusing when you start doing like refreshes of the same cards. So you release the same cards with a different product number. TI, thank you, yes. Titanium, yeah. I think. Is it titanium? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't think anyone's been able to explain what the TI is supposed to mean.